Recently I've been reflecting on what it means to be alive, to feel alive. And where else can you feel alive than when you're up against it and you're holding a heavy weight over your head. You have a really tight deadline for an important piece of work or a really important conversation to have with someone that you care about, or someone that you care about is ill and you need to show up and be there for them. You know, those are the moments when I feel most alive, when the stakes are high, when it's important for me to get it right, or at least however right looks in that context. But so much of the time, at least in my life, and I would imagine in yours too, the stakes are not high enough for us to feel like that. Or the stakes are artificially inflated by someone who perceives an act of some kind to be of vastly superior importance than it actually is. And that's where stress comes in, right? When we're being asked to do things with a degree of urgency that isn't warranted, which is often the case. Or we're involved in a conversation which is given excess importance, which again is often the case. And the rest of the time we're just kind of mediocre, ambling through life, making do with how things are, not really challenging the status quo, keeping things comfortable. And yeah, that's great. Comfort and convenience have a place. But when they're so widespread as they are these days, where's the feeling of aliveness? All right, when do you come alive? Is it at the weekend when you're drinking? Is it when you're jumping out of an airplane or doing something really extreme? Is it a holiday that you can only afford once a year? And what do you do with your life the rest of the time when you aren't able to live in that way? You just kind of silently hope that something will come along and make it better? Do you seek out growth in the form of unhealthy challenges? Do you throw yourself wholeheartedly into something which you know isn't really what you want to do, but it's the only thing that you've got? Or maybe it's a combination of all of those things. It certainly has been for me. You know, I've been reflecting on my own life and how so much of my life is what I would consider to be, let's say, mediocre. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to convince you that I have an awesome life and I've got everything worked out, because that's not the case. And if it was the case, then maybe I'd be recording from a nice studio instead of getting absolutely soaked. But that's okay. That's where I am right now. But recognizing that you're living an average life and not judging yourself for it, not saying, well, this means something about me, this means I'm in some way deficient and I should be better. And just recognizing that's where you are, and recognizing that there's the potential to expand further, well, it opens up a doorway. Opens up a doorway where we start to seek out those challenges in healthy ways. Recently for me, I've taken up exercising at home. Not a fan of gyms. I started training with kettlebells, and I've been doing that for about 6 months since I came back from Thailand, and it's great. So it's a very healthy channel for my energy, and there's lots of positive benefits that have spread out into other areas of my life. But there's also other parts of my life where I'm not currently doing that. The world of work, for instance, where I feel like growth is this thing that kind of happens periodically rather than something I'm exposed to every single day, and I'm the kind of person who needs to be growing. It's not just a nice to have for me, it's essential, because at the edge is where I feel the most alive, as I mentioned a few moments ago. But at the edge is where you risk being seen for failure. The edge is where people judge you for standing out or being different. And I recognise that a large amount of the things that I say on here won't be of interest to the majority of people, because largely People are ignorant of their experience. People don't want to grow. They want to be comfortable and convenient because that's what everybody else is doing, and that's today's interpretation of success, which to me sounds like a slow and painful death. So being out in the rain getting soaked is my way of feeling alive, even if it's just for this moment, just reminding me that there is more to life than the convenience of, hey, frog, toad. You don't see that kind of thing if you're at home. So it's things like that remind me that life is an experience to be felt. It's not comfort and convenience at the exclusion of growth and depth. And that means those of us that are so inclined, that tread the path of growth, that yes, we do risk screwing everything up. We do risk the judgment of others in public. We do risk making mistakes which cost us money and time and effort. But in the process, every time we go through those things, we expand ever so slightly until such a point that they become second nature to us. And that's the thing, like, people think success or greatness, however you define that, achievement, confidence, intelligence, people think those things just come overnight. They think they can be bought with 5 steps, but they're not bought, they're earned. Life rewards the effort that we put in. And it's the areas where we aren't putting in effort, where we are favouring convenience, where we are favouring comfort. Those are the areas where we feel the most dissatisfied. And like, honestly, can you say that you feel like you're growing, like you're on the leading edge of your life? You spend every night in front of the TV, consuming? I don't think so. Equally, do you feel like you're growing if you just turn up to your job every day and do the same thing over and over and over again without questioning why, without seeking opportunity? And you could argue that that's up to your employer, but it's not. It's up to you. It's up to you to speak up and say, look, I think there's a better way we could do this. I think there's a better way I could do this. Maybe I could have an opportunity, and if they say no, go somewhere else. So much of how people meet life these days is average. It is mediocre. And there's no judgment there. I'm not saying that is wrong. If you're doing that out of choice, great. But for those of us that want more, there is an alternative. And the alternative is to get stuck in, to go out when you don't want to exercise when you don't want to say the things that you don't want to say and see what happens. And use the data as feedback, not as a way to judge yourself or to beat yourself up for not being good enough. Because that's a sure way to stay in the same place. And it's not a path that everybody has to take. It's a path that's available to everybody. And it does mean that sometimes we put things out there which don't look that good or just fall flat on their face. This video could get millions of views, it could get 1 view. But it's not about that. It's about me connecting to the things which light me up, putting myself into a place where my growth is inevitable, not just optional. If you want to grow, find people, connect with people who are on that path. Connect with people who want to put themselves out there, push themselves out of their comfort zones and are willing to help you do the same. Find them online if you need to. Not everybody is born to be average. Some people want that. And I have every respect for those people, because we need variation. But some people know that there is more to life than just conforming and being comfortable. And if you happen to be one of those, then maybe you'd be inclined to stick around. I'll see you again.